Welcome to the Taiwan language episode, a podcast for learning and insights in Mandarin and Taiwanese. I am your host, Yasmin. Welcome to today's episode. I have an important update regarding our podcast schedule. Currently, I host a podcast every Monday in Chinese and every Tuesday in English, where I interpret the Chinese version from the previous day. This helps those who don't fully understand the Monday version get a better grasp of the content. Starting next week, I will be changing the podcast update frequency to bi-weekly for each version. This means that every 2 weeks, there will be one Chinese version and one English version. Specifically, you will have the Chinese version on one Monday, and the English version will be available the following Monday. In addition to this change, I'm so excited to announce a new opportunity for those looking to practice their Chinese or Taiwanese. I'm creating a special 30-minute section for Taiwanese Mandarin learners. Anyone interested in this program is warmly welcome, and learners of all levels are encouraged to join. During this special time, we can freely discuss the weekly podcast topic, address any questions you have from the study guide if you need clarification on the learning material, or simply engage in conversation or free talk to practice your Mandarin or Taiwanese. You are definitely welcome to join us for a productive and enjoyable language learning experience. For more information about Chat Hour, please visit the show notes below. Welcome to today's episode. In previous episode, I shared stories about the Chinese Civil War and mainlanders moving to Taiwan, roughly after 1945. Today, the short story I want to share happened between 1945 and 1941. It mainly tells the special memories among a group of nationalist Air Force soldiers and their families. This story comes from Pai Hsien-yung's work, Taipei People. In the short story, A Touch of Green. Maybe many have seen the TV drama adaptation, but today I want to introduce the original novel version. This short story is narrated in the first person by Pai Hsien-yung. The protagonist, Verdancy, was originally a simple and shy teenage girl who married pilot Guo Zhen. But shortly after their marriage, the Chinese Civil War broke out, and Guo Zhen was called to the front lines and unfortunately died in plane crash. She could not forget the news of her husband's death on the battlefield and was deeply affected. Verdancy later went to Taiwan. However, even though she was in Taiwan, she still lived in the memories of the past. At the time, Verdancy, a teenage girl, didn't understand that marrying an Air Force pilot would lead to. The later part of the story is about 16 years later, when Verdancy, who was a teenage girl, turned into a woman in her 30s. The story's setting also changed from East Benevolence Village in Nanjing to East Benevolence Village in Taipei. Despite the different time and space backgrounds, the memories of the female protagonist Verdancy and Pai Hsien-yung are the same. However, even though the memories are the same, their feelings and attitudes toward life are completely different. Although I sympathize with Verdancy's experience, being forced to separate from her newlywed husband at a romantic and lovely age, and ultimately unable to bury her husband, I admire Hsien-yung more in the story. Hsien-yung maintains a rational and strong attitude and is always capable of taking care of others. In the story, you can clearly see how Hsien-yung faces the real world with equanimity. There's a scene where when the Chinese Civil War broke out and Guo Zhen was called to the battle, they had to cancel their honeymoon plans. When Verdancy cried alone in the room, Hsien-yung came to comfort her and said, "Don't sell these people short. They've all been through a lot. Like Mrs. Zhou, for example, the lady who lives in Bakerville. She's been married for 4 times. Her present husband and 3 years before him were in the same squadron. They were all good friends to begin with. Sort of an understanding, you see, so that there will always be someone to take care of her. And Mrs. Xi across the street from you. Her husband used to be her younger brother-in-law. The Xi brothers were both in the 13th group. The elder brother got killed, and the younger brother took his place. To the children by her first husband, he is uncle, and at the same time, he is papa. For a long time, they just don't know what to call him." In another scene, when they received the news that their squadron will stay in Nanjing on a certain day, Verdancy was very happy to hear this news and busily prepared by buying groceries, taking care of household chores, and dressing herself up beautifully. However, as time passed, they waited for a long time but still did not see the squadron arrive. In the end, they learned that the itinerary had changed again, and the squadron would not stay in Nanjing. Verdancy went pale upon receiving this news at this time. Hsien-yung came to comfort her and told her, "It's not easy to be the wife of a flying warrior. 24 long hours a day. Your heart is trotting up there after them. You can gaze at the sky and look until your eyes run with blood. But your men out there would not even know. They are just like so many iron birds. One moment, they fly to the east. The next moment, they fly to the west. You just can't catch them. Since you are married into our village, Verdancy, please don't mind if I speak frankly to you. You've just got to harden your heart in order to endure the storm and stress that is to come." Hsien-yung holds a detached attitude towards life because she knows that in that era of war and chaos, any misfortune could suddenly come, especially when her husband, Wei Chen, was eventually abandoned at sea. Hsien-yung also lightly passed over it, without complaining, just drafting with the tide of the times, accepting whenever she is. She knows that everything must be accepted, and as time goes by, people will age and become what they should be. Why was this story titled A Touch of Green? Here is a short clip from the story. When Hsien-yung joined an evening of entertainment in Taipei, she noticed a strikingly young woman dressed in particularly seductive gown went to the stage, signifying that the moment she appeared, the audience gave a roar of approval. signifying that here we had something extra special. The woman sung with a lazy, carefree vibe, holding the microphone in one hand, while nonchalantly playing with her hair, which was tousled like a big bird's nest. She lifted her chin and sung each word clearly and distinctly. She purred. On East Hill, a touch of green. On West Hill, a touch of green. If you've got a fancy, your fancy is mine, darling. We two will make a pair so fine. In her youth, Verdancy once knew innocent, but as time passed, life's trial and turbulations shaped her. Now, in the present, Verdancy has shared the timidity of her girlhood. With a deep understanding of destiny, she navigates life effortlessly, like a fish in water, embracing the worldly pursuits and adapting to its ever-changing currents. Alright, let's talk about my reflection on a touch of green. Now, through today's sharing, let's learn a few sentences of Taiwanese. First one, 一郎金鹤. He treats people very well. This indicates that the person is kind and considerate in the interactions with others. So if you want to say he treats people very well, in Taiwanese, you can say 一郎金鹤. 一郎金鹤. Second one, 恭賀一哉. 恭賀一哉. Tell him, let him know. This is a directive to inform someone about something important. The speaker wants to ensure that the person is made aware of specific information. So if you want to say, tell him, let him know, in Taiwanese it is 恭賀一哉. 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 And the third one is 有要緊無? 有要緊無? Is the matter serious or not? This is a question asking about the severity of a situation. The speaker is seeking to understand the gravity of the issue at hand. So if you want to express that is the matter serious or not, you can say 有要緊無? 有要緊無? The last one, 喝大賣照. 喝大賣照. If you have the guts, don't run away. This is a challenge or a motivational statement, urging someone to face the situation bravely, rather than avoiding it. It implies that courage is required to confront the issue instead of fleeing from it. So, if you have the guts, don't run away. In Taiwanese, it is 喝大賣照. 喝大賣照. So that rest of what I have to share today. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Next, we are diving into the lyrics from the TV series A Touch of Green. I will help you get a deeper grasp of what those lyrics are all about in correlation with this story. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a 5-star review on your listening platform. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends to help more people discover this podcast. You can support my work by buying me a cup of coffee, which helps this podcast to continue providing learning resources. To enrich your learning experience, I create a study guide in Chinese with Pinyin version. The content comprises text in both Chinese and Taiwanese with a Taiwanese romanization and local phonetic symbols. vocabulary, reading comprehension questions with the answer keys, and extension questions. You can become a member, subscribe to the study guide, and utilize it to preview before the new podcast episode launches, or review after listening to the podcast to enhance your language skills. Make sure to check our show notes for more information. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you join us again on Taiwan language episode. Till next time, bye-bye.